Yo, what's up, guys? We're back. We're going to be doing a Dana White Contender Series Week 4 breakdown and predictions video right here. And not a big fan of this week, man, honestly. I feel like it was really hard to find footage on a couple of these fighters and couldn't really get a good read on a couple of fights. But we still were able to break down these fights and give you guys kind of a decent idea on some matchups where I think I can go here. So let's get in this first fight at night here. We got Quillan Salkilld. He's taking on Gage Young, and both these guys are solid fighters. I feel like Gage Young, he is a much more basic striker. He's probably a little bit more powerful with his hands. He throws nice 1-2s. He'll throw 3-2s. He's starting to mix in some nice kicking game as well. Like his last fight, he was working a lot of really good leg kicks and front kicks to the body. He ended up kind of finishing the fight with his leg kicks, so that's been a little bit of a new dynamic for him. But I feel like he's really basic with his offense on the feet, and he throws a lot of the same strikes a lot. And his opponent, Quillan Salkilld, is maybe not as powerful with a one punch ability, and he can sometimes get a little reckless. So that does give Gage Young his opportunities to potentially land, but Salkilld is going to be a lot bigger. He's 6 foot to 5'9" on Young, and he throws a lot of offense, leg kicks. He'll go to the body, he'll go to the head. So him mixing it up a lot and just kind of changing the variation of his striking, keeping the output high, I think is going to be too overwhelming for Gage Young, who's just a little bit too basic with the strikes. If you can't just catch Salkilld and hurt him and get him out of there. And as far as the wrestling goes, Gage Young has really nice wrestling. He has good timing, but Salkilld seems like a high-level grappler. It seems like he's really good at kind of defending takedowns, creating scrambles, fighting his way to the back. He's the better submission artist, so I just think Salkild's probably a little bit more polished everywhere. Gage Young has the power and the wrestling advantage, but I don't know if he's going to be able to implement those to be able to offset the skill level of Salkilld. And I just think Salkild's going to be able to do more if it goes to the ground. He's going to be able to be more effective in the stand-up. And Gage Young's a tough guy. I think he's going to be able to hang in there. So I see this fight going longer, probably going to decision. Salkilld has most of his wins via finish, so there could be a submission potentially in there later, but I just think Gage Young's going to hang tough, and but Salkild's going to get that victory there. So when you look at the line now, it's like minus 200. I kind of agree with that line. I feel like it's like pretty much exact there. I feel like Salkilld, he should be like maybe max like minus 250. He was minus 260 earlier in the week, but I think minus 200. If he gets, at minus 185 or below, I think there's some value there on Salkilld eventually. But currently, that money line, it's probably just a pass because I think it's very accurate. But this next fight, this is one of these fights where couldn't really figure out much about Yuneisy Duben. I couldn't find any of her recent fights. And ultimately, I mean, I think she has like a wushu Sanda background where she was, I don't know if she was a world champion or South American champion or what, but she was pretty high level, I guess, in wushu Sanda, but only 4-0. She's fought really, really low level competition. All of her wins are against girls that were 0-0. And Shannon Clark, I wasn't super impressed with her, but she's a big, strong girl that has fought and beaten some good opponents. She can take it to the ground and do work there. So, I mean, I don't have a lot to say about this fight because I just feel like Duben is kind of a complete unknown, but that's why you're getting that minus 500 line. I mean, you look at Duben, her opponents 0-0, 0-0, 0-0, 0-0, like I said, so it's like how much stock can you really put into that? Whereas you're looking at Clark, she just submitted someone that was 5-0, fought Nezra Rep 2-0, so I mean, she's fighting a little bit better opponents, and I was actually able to watch a couple of her fights, and she trained with a better team. So I just think Shannon Clark probably is going to get the beat on this one and win in dominant fashion, maybe even get a submission. But it's kind of a shot in the dark because I just don't know what Duben's level is at. I don't even know what she has on the ground or much about her. So we're gonna learn about Duben in that one and kind of figure out who's victorious in that fight. But this next one, this is a good fight right here. Short notice fight. Austin Bashi taking on Dorian Ramos. And when you're looking at Austin Bashi, he is a really, really explosive kid. He closes that gap quick. He has that check hook. He'll throw a lot of really nice kicks. But his stand up isn't really what he's known for. He wants to bring the fight to the ground. He wants to use that elite grappling that he has. Sick back takes. He has a really nice single leg, and when he gets on top, he can just usually find his way to getting the finish, whether it's either a rear naked choke or some other type of submission. He's just really relentless, and eventually he'll end up getting that finish more often than not. And he has had a couple of decision wins, so he's proven that he can go longer in the fight. His cardio is good, but the only area he needs to improve is just with this, I think, his head movement and kind of his footwork moving backwards, because he's not a good striker, but he's explosive. You could tell he closed the gap quick. He hits hard, so I think he could be a dangerous striker because he has that takedown threat. If he could start learning how to fake the level changes, come with the check hook, the overhands a little bit better, he could start to hurt guys a lot more frequently. And then he has nice kicks as well. You could tell he's athletic, so that always helps. But he just likes to shell up and back up kind of in straight lines, and I feel like someone that could throw volume, use a jab, kind of intercept those big explosive striking sequences. A Bashi could land on him, and they could also maybe back him up and get him in the pocket and kind of get him uncomfortable there, force bad takedowns. But Dorian Ramos, he's more of a wrestler, grappler himself, and he likes to use his hands, which he has probably the better hands. He does have a nice jab. He'll double jab, triple jab. He'll go to the body. He has loose punch combinations, but I feel as if with his forward pressure, he has kind of a more square stance. I think that Bosch is going to be able to take him down pretty easily. And Ramos has been able to show good scrambling ability. I haven't really seen someone be able to control him, but I think Bosch will be able to get the back and hold him down more than likely. And you look at one of Ramos's losses, he did get submitted, so that's something that's a little bit worrisome when you're looking at a guy like Austin Bashi. But Dorian Ramos, he likes to wrestle. He likes to push you against the cage, and he has good cardio. But man, he's taking this fight on really short notice. Austin Bashi was expected to fight a couple other opponents that pulled out, and Ramos stepped up like just a few days ago. So he's coming in here with not a lot of time to prepare, and I just feel like he might not have that grappling as sharp as he needs to be. And I think that Bashi is going to be able to get the beat on him and get the job done here. But Dorian Ramos does have a good resume. The guy's fought good guys. He has been fighting a lot in Mexico recently, so maybe coming back, fighting in the States, not in that crazy elevation. His cardio will look a little better, but I feel like it's just a tough ask to come in here on that short notice and try to get the win over an elite prospect like Bashi, who's 12-0. So I got to go with Bashi, and I'm going to say he actually gets a submission win here. I think that when he gets to the ground, he's really dynamic, and I think that Dorian Ramos taking this fight on such short notice, I don't know exactly how tuned up his grappling is at this moment. You know, maybe he could get a little tired too and eventually give up the neck or something. So I'm going to say Bashi gets a second or third round rear naked choke in that fight. And I feel like I saw Bashi's like minus 400. I do kind of agree with that line. It's definitely wide, but I like Bashi as a prospect. I think that he's someone that you could probably trust on this card. And next fight here, we got Will Currie taking on Djorden Santos. Really wasn't impressed with Djorden Santos very much. I feel like he has okay striking. Like, his footwork is good. He bounces in and out well, and he'll throw some long punches, but his hands are way too low. He's backing out with his hands down, and I just feel like he's very vulnerable. He's not really the greatest striker. If you pressure him, you could tell he doesn't like being pressured, and he also will get tired if it's an only stand-up fight. Will Currie, he doesn't have the best stand-up either, but he does throw some nice kicks, which I think could be effective. Maybe he could even get a crazy head kick KO as Santos is backing up hands down. And he'll throw some okay hands. Like, he likes to shell in return with his punches, but a lot of the time he'll just like shell up and let guys throw on him, and eventually, if you're fighting a better opponent, he'll just unload on you and get you out of there. So Currie just has to improve a little bit in certain aspects, but I feel like he's probably slightly the better stand up guy. Maybe when they're both very fresh, and if Santos is able to pressure into Currie, you could maybe land a couple combos, but I think that eventually that defense is gonna rear its ugly head, and Will Currie will start to land more and more. And Santos is a good offensive wrestler, and he has good defensive wrestling as well. Like, he'll shoot hard doubles, and he's good at kind of using that defensive wrestling as link to take your back when you try to take him down. And he's a grinder, but I've seen him taken down by guys that I think aren't as good as Will Currie. And even though he's been able to avoid getting submitted and kind of use his scrambling ability to do well with those guys, I think with Will Currie, if he gives his back up or he gets taken down and starts getting put in dominant positions, I think that Currie could find the finish or at least win pretty dominantly. And Will Currie has kind of poor cardio. He's slowing down in fights, but so is Santos, and Santos gets tired too. So I think that might offset a little bit. And yeah, I just feel like Will Currie's the better fighter everywhere. He's fought the better competition. He's been fighting cage warriors. His losses are to really good guys. He lost twice to COD, Christian Leroy Duncan. He has lost to Mick Stanton, who had a really good kind of career renaissance there with Cage Warriors, became the champ. And Djorden Santos, he just hasn't been fighting too many good opponents. He's fought a lot of fluff fighters, and I just feel like it's just fight for Will Currie to get the win and probably get a finish and get in the UFC. So I think that the Englishmen are going to get another UFC fighter here. And I think that line, you could play that line. Maybe parlay him with Bashi and see what happens. But main event, I don't really got too much to say about this fight, man. I couldn't find hardly any fights of Cavalcante's. I found a couple really quick finishes that he had. The guy looks super explosive, super dangerous. And you just look at his build. I mean, 79.5-inch reach for 170. That's pretty serious. And you could tell he's a very athletic, very explosive guy that has big power. He has some submissions on the ground too, so probably has a decent grappling game as well. And all his wins currently came in the first round, so he's just running through everybody. You look at Suk Hon Ko, he good striker, good footwork. He has a nice jab. He works off the jab. He has nice timing with his counter crosses and decent punching ability. He'll make sitting kicks, and he's trying to move around, be evasive, but his hands are down, and I just feel like that type of style against a guy with such a crazy reach that's going to be explosive, dynamic, that only needs one shot, you're kind of playing a very scary game there, and I think that Cavalcanti is probably going to find that chin, either drop him and knock him out, or drop him and submit him. And you look at Hyun-Ko, he has been knocked out twice, so I think that just basing it kind of purely off the small amount of footage that I've seen on Cavalcanti, I'll say that he's able to go out there and get the finish in the first round. But that's a fight that I don't really have a lot of confidence in, because I don't know how Cavalcanti is going to look after a few minutes, and I wasn't really able to watch very much of his fighting ability. So I don't think Sok Hyuko is a bad fighter, so maybe if he can extend it, something could happen, and I would kind of stay away from that fight. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching this video. Dana White Contender Series 2024 Week 4 full card breakdown and predictions. I'll be back soon giving you guys some more content. And yeah, man, besides that, just stay locked into the channel. If you haven't watched yet, go check out Fitz's interview with Quillan Salkilld on the channel. He gives you guys a little bit of a preview of his fight with Gage Young. But besides that, man, if I had to give you guys a parlay, it would be Bashi and Will Currie as the parlay. And I guess my most confident pick would be Awesome Bashi. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back soon, and I'll talk to you guys later.